To be driven away, the party agents?
No, certainly not right. We are quite scrupulous about this, that party agents, accredited party agents are involved in all aspects of the process, right from the very beginning, right from when we start distribution of the sensitive materials, when it's taken from the vaults of the central bank where they are kept, to where they're taken to the state office, to the local government office, to the camps, the rack centers, onto polling day, and even in the retrieval, even going to collation at every point. It is usually very dishonest of a lot of these agents when they say that, because very often, more often than not, you see their signatures being appended on the collated results. How do you account for that? And we ask them to bring their particulars of their agents well before the time. The law says they should do that not later than 2 weeks. I know as at last week, less than towards the end of the statutory period deadline, none of the political parties have submitted a list of party agents to us. I don't know what the current thing is now that we're less than 14 days. No one had submitted, and this leaves openly for them to come back and say this or say that. A lot of the time, it's people who are not accredited. It says one accredited agent, a single agent. Very often, they bring nebulous agents, they are roving agents. There's nothing like that known to law. What you have is accredited agents, and when you comply with the law, you submit a list with their names, and usually we ask them for their passport photographs so that we can do personalized identification cards. Photo IDs, very often, they don't do this. They tell you there's no money for this, there's no problem with that. And they're the same people. To make it seamless, to make it easier for everybody, it's the same political parties who will not comply with such a basic instruction, so that we personalize the cards. Everybody knows who is at any given time, so you don't swap these cards. That is the intent, and then very often, sad to say, it's not done. But there's no interrogate them further. When they come to say that were they accredited, let them bring out the list of agents they sent to the INEC, to the commission, before the election, and let us see. And those who signed the collated result sheets, were they or were they not party agents?
All right, let me ask you, Mr. Ojukwu. There's this increasing concern about the role of security agents in an election. We know that, look, policemen who don't bear arms, yes, they are the ones who are allowed at the polling center, near the ballot or closest to the ballot. But these days, there's this increasing report about security personnel who bear arms. Are they now allowed, and to what extent, during elections at the ballot?
Yeah, the Electoral Act does not allow bearing of arms or any weapons within the immediate perimeters of a polling unit. Maybe after 200, 300 meters of a polling unit, you could have armed police who will be there to respond to serious crisis. But those people you find at the polling units, not just the police, other law enforcement agencies are there, the others are outside. None of them bears arms. Those who come to vote are not expected to have any arms with them. So that's what the law says. And the police are there, and other agencies are there, just to make sure the exercise is working well. If Nigerians behave well, if the electorate behaves very well, there will be no need to call anybody to come and to frisk anybody. So policemen don't bear arms. Even those VIPs, as we say in this country, when they are coming to cast their ballots, they don't have even their orderlies come in mufti, not in uniform. I don't carry arms, so it's not allowed.
So, Mr. Ojukwu, let me get to this very clearly from you. You say that the collaboration between yourself and INEC in terms of apprehending people who engage in malpractices or electoral fraud is one that is very smooth. But how much of that, if you look at past elections and the cases that have been, prosecuted to this time, how much of that would you say that you have gained on to this point as we approach the Osun elections and even the general elections in 2019?
Yes, the police I know and the INEC we work with, as I said earlier on, we have very good relationship, and we keep fine-tuning it. INEC senior command and the police senior command, they've met a number of times, even in the recent past, to fine-tune the exercise and to make sure the relationship is still as robust as possible. As regards the recent cases of vote buying and all that, I know they are working together to see a way out of it, and I do know they will succeed. The persons arrested in the course of committing electoral offenses, a good number of them have been prosecuted by the police and by INEC, and we've got strong results. The last election in the Ekiti State, those who were buying votes and all, buying and all that, a good number of them were arrested and are in court right now. So we're working very well to make sure what comes out becomes a deterrent to anybody who may like to truncate the exercise.
Well, while we're hoping that that will be made public, let me get your thoughts, Mr. Osaze-Uzzi, because malpractices is a major concern for a lot of people, as well as monetization of the process. But how much effort or what are you doing to discourage even INEC staff from monetary inducements, as we've seen in the past? Correct me if I'm wrong, because we understand that the stipends that you pay is just maybe 1,000 naira.
Yes, I know the 1,000 naira is actually a feeding allowance for that particular day of the election. Mr. Ojukwu is quite right. For example, with the ongoing prosecutions now regarding the Ekiti case, maybe not as many as they should be, but they are ongoing. In Anambra State, I recall even channels carried the news of a certain man who was arrested, believed to be distributing money. He had a fairly large sum, I think about 300,000 naira on his person. And this was a collaboration between the officials and the security agents. Look, people drew attention to his activities within the vicinity of a polling unit, and the polling officer drew the constables and the officers' attention to it, and the person was arrested. Surprisingly, a few hours later, we saw him again back in the field, and when inquiries were made, the police had to say, well, look, well, it's a bailable offense, of course, and he had been granted bail, apparently, in his defense, because when you're arrested, you're under caution, you make a statement. And he said, look, yes, I do have this money, I don't deny it, but it's not for bribing. He says it's for paying his party agents. Now, that's a bit of a defense for him. I don't know the current state of the investigation in that particular case, so I better not comment any further on that. But that was a case in point where somebody, a notable person, I think, was arrested. And it will be good to get not just those who are on the field on that day, but with intelligence. We're working closely with the security agents. With intelligence, for example, let me give an example. I think in the mafia in the U.S., part of the reasons why the FBI was so successful was it was able to infiltrate the mafia. And I know that in the security circles will come around. Let us improve on intelligence gathering. The security agents, can you improve on intelligence? Can we see how we can infiltrate, for example, parties or cabals are involved in this? If we get evidence, wiretaps, whichever way, lawful way of getting evidence of those are the big weeks we should be going after. Tomorrow, for example, there's an interagency consultative committee on electoral security meeting, important meeting regarding Osun, I think today or tomorrow. And the resident electoral commissioner will be there. The commissioner of police for Osun State will be there. I believe this is in the NSA's office. And other measures which are likely to be used, including and very effectively intelligence gathering, are things going to be considered in approaching this issue of dealing with vote buying. It's important to us. We take it very seriously, and we don't want people to get away with it because we believe it could scuttle or compromise the integrity of the 2019 elections and other processes leading up to that.
Okay, Mr. Ozzy, just a quick one. Is SARS, the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, are they part of that meeting tomorrow?
I'm not aware that there's SARS anymore. I thought that had been disbanded. Federal SARS. Well, basically, it's amongst the top security agencies that are involved in election security. My understanding of SARS or FSARS is that they are more of an anti-robbery squad, but maybe Mr. Ojukwu can confirm or speak more on that. But basically, it involves the police, the NSA is the chairman, co-chaired by the chairman of INEC at the national level. The Commissioner of Police and the Resident Electoral Commissioner of INEC are the co-chairman state level. It goes on to the local government level right now. And basically, it includes all the agencies, including the prisons, NSDC, the NDLEA, all agencies that immigration, all agencies that are involved in election security that we deploy are members of that committee. And they've been doing a good job. They can do a better job for sure. And I know that they're looking into strategies. Some of them I know, some of them I cannot disclose, into how we can curb vote buying. Of course, prosecution is one of the things that we're looking at. Further education, further enlightenment are important components. But it's difficult to change mindsets of people. It's difficult to change people's way of thinking. And we believe it's because it's no longer so attractive to go bribe INEC officials in the hope that you change results. And so what INEC is doing, you're aware that over 200 staff are still indicted.
Okay,
follow up to that question. When he asked you whether SARS was now a
yes,
part
I've answered that, but he also asked a previous question about
Yeah.
what INEC is doing, and I say our staff have been indicted
Yeah.
and they're facing prosecution for
Yeah.
having collected money from politicians in previous elections.
Okay, let him quickly give a follow-up to that. NT.
Okay, yeah. The question this time is for Mr. Ojukwu. The last guest we had talked about, he said he was using the Ekiti election. He said he warned earlier before that election about the activities of the security agencies. According to him, it's not as much INEC's problem. Vote buying is not as much INEC's problem as it is that of the security agencies, because the police will tell you they are only there to maintain law and order, not to stop anybody from carrying on their activities. How do you react to that?
Vote buying is not police problem because it's not the police that buys the votes. Police doesn't receive money for it. We don't save votes. We don't even vote, actually. It is a societal problem. We have a system where Nigeria is said to be the poverty capital of the world. That's very uncomplimentary. Government recently is trying to empower the poor people of this country with 10,000 naira loan, refundable. Now somebody comes with a bag of money in the electoral process, wants to give you 5,000, free of charge. It's very tempting. We need to educate the electorate. Those of us who are high up, the elites, we hardly vote. We just stay and be chatting on social media. But those who actually cast their votes are poor. They're hungry. They're hurting. So we need to do more voter education. It's not really a police issue. Why I say it's not a police issue? It's our common heritage, and we have to deal with it. What the police does is to make sure anybody who commits an offense within his view is brought to book. There may be 5 law enforcement officers, maybe 1 police, civil defense, and the rest of them. And you have an electorate of 500 in a polling unit.
Mr.
5 to 500.
I'm sorry I have to interrupt you again. We have to take another break, sadly. You'll come back and then, to be our closing moment, we can quickly get your closing remarks. In just a moment, please stay with us.